freeze.
You guys were doing a lot of song. At one point, you were laying down a lot of songs, but nothing was really. It took a while for a record to come out, an album. So
yeah,
you had compiled all these songs, and I'm sure there's probably a lot more that I've never even heard. But I remember just keep hearing new songs. Like, man, there's a lot of songs. When's the album gonna come out?
yeah.
What was it like creating those songs with Prince? Like,
Well,
new material.
yeah, the thing is, it was fantastic because he wrote those songs for us, to fit our sound and how, the vibe and everything. So that was, really beautiful. And also it was fun because we didn't know we were recording an album because, if you have a rehearsal at Paisley Park, it was recorded, for reference. So since we were learning new material, it was recorded. And, if you record something, you don't record with mistakes. So of course we recorded it as good as we could, but it was really like we learned a new song, we recorded it. But we thought, so we can remember, learn it back when we're gonna go play somewhere. So, but really, then one day he came and said, hey, we recorded all these songs. Maybe we should think about how to put them in order for our album. And we're like, oh.
And when did you find out the name of the band?
We found out the name of the band as we played at Jimmy Fallon's show on TV, and he announced it.
Really?
Yes. And we're like, oh okay. So it is really us, because we've been telling everybody, they're like, hey, it's you guys who are Third Eye Girl. And we're like, no, it's really not. But then we're like, I guess it is.
Wow. So how much do you feel like you guys progressed as a band? Because it must have been at least 2 years that you guys were playing shows and doing songs. And I mean, how far did you come from where you began?
Oh, I feel like the band really had went like this, because in the beginning we were playing mostly rock stuff, and we had quite early, I think even like in March or April, we had a club tour where we played like 2 shows a night, 2 days in a row, and then on to the next city. And so we played like a whole bunch of shows within a month. And after that, and I really think this was, maybe it was April 2013, we were on that tour. After that tour, we were really tight. It took, I feel like you could, after the tour, it was like, okay, now we got it. And then we started playing like all kinds of songs, not only the rock stuff. And, basically then he's just started using us as the backing band for also like when the horns came and all of it. So.
Yeah, I mean, he went from the 2010 record to 2014. That was like the longest period I think he ever went without putting out a record.
Yeah.
And then he came with 2, on the same day, I think it was.
Yeah.
So his
yes.
and you guys. So I have, of course, those records here.
Hey.
So, and really cool picture of all of you inside.
Yeah. It's yeah.
What was it like when this record hit the shelves and you actually had it out there? And
Yeah, it was amazing. You know, because I mean, you know, release a record with the Prince. I mean, I've been on like other stuff recorded with him, but you know, this was actually a record with Prince. So I mean, it's yeah, fantastic.
and Lizzo, who's so big now, she appeared on
Yeah,
that.
man. Yes,
Yeah.
it's you know, but she did great already then.
So, what did Prince express to you three, though, in terms of his vision or what he was wanting to do, or maybe not wanting to do during that time?
Well, well, he always had a lot of ideas, and you know, some we would try, some we wouldn't. You know, so it like, and it would, you know, he was like super smart, you know, so he was thinking a lot, and one day he would have one idea, but then the next day he would have a different idea. So it would be, and that's actually also why it took so long to release the albums, because we had to find the right way to do it, you know, that hadn't been done before, like. And I remember we had like we were brainstorming, sitting in a room, how about doing it like this? And he would be like, nah, we did that already in 90 something. So, you know, yeah.
And that's what one of the many things we loved about him is just his unpredictability and just
Yeah.
spontaneity and just trying anything,
Yeah.
you know. So your next record came out actually in 2016, and that came after his passing.
Yes.
Yeah. So he passed in April, and your record
Yeah.
came out what month?
It came out August.
August, so a few months
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
So where were you when the news came, and you know, how have you come to terms with it since then?
Yeah. You know, this is a part I would rather not talk too much about. But yeah, I was in Denmark. We were on a break with Third Eye Girl, so I was in Denmark with my family, and yeah.
It's hard, I know. It's still
Yeah. It's yeah. You know, it was just such a big surprise. And you know, which yeah, I would rather not talk about it because that's okay.
That's fine. I don't like talking about myself. But I did also want to touch on these two records, Hit and Run 1 and Hit and Run 2.
Yeah.
Which you guys were calling those shows that you mentioned that were the pop-up shows like Hit and Run.
Yeah.
And then these records came out. How much were you involved with these records?
Well, the Hit and Run phase 2 actually, mostly because some of those songs were recorded way earlier. And so I'm appearing on quite a few of those. And phase 1, not so much, but see, I'm mixing them up, which songs are on which ones. But I do believe I'm doing a little bit of background vocals on phase 1.
I love that footage of the Montrose shows that you guys did. That was outstanding. I love the way you guys did the different kind of sets. It was sort of like PG and Third Eye Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Out of all those shows you did with Prince, is there any like one that you can share with us that just for whatever reason was like among the most unforgettable?
I would say the first one, of course, because it was very special. But then also the first time we played in Denmark, which was the next show. That was, it was, and I was so insecure because I didn't feel completely comfortable with the material. So, but to come home to your country with the biggest star and play, it was fantastic. And then of course it was also very, very special to play at the White House for President Obama. That was quite of a cool thing too, I think. And but then we played the Madison Square Garden. We played so many amazing places, and every concert was all the time fantastic because he was so magical, and he was all the time in the music so much that you never had the feeling like he wanted to be somewhere else. You have always the feeling like he just really wanted to be here and play this music. So so everything always felt fantastic and magical. And so that's why I think like what stands out mostly is something personal to me, like playing the first show or first time in Denmark. But also later when we came back to Denmark in 2011 and did some shows, because I've basically toured ever since I was there last time. So I felt when we came back, I was like, now I know it. And we played some really great shows, and I was so proud. So yeah, that was cool.
And you also participated in the Saturday Night Live anniversary after show performance.
I'm sorry?
Were you also Prince performed like at the after party for the Saturday Night Live 40th anniversary?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
That was quite an experience too, right? I mean, I've seen.
Yeah, man. Yes, actually it was, because the place was full of movie stars, and when Prince walked in, everybody just went, oh. So it was, I mean, it was funny. It was,
Yeah, Jimmy Fallon and Chris Rock, those guys I think got on stage. Yeah. So, what about any recording that you did with Prince that is your favorite for whatever reason?
Well, it's hard to pick because there's always like I have a few favorite songs, but it kind of changes which one it is. But I think the whole Plectrum Electrum album I'm really happy about. And but also there's a couple of songs that was not released with Third Eye Girl that were very, very beautiful, that we'll see what happens with them, but that was also very special. And then we did also another song in 2011 after with the MPG. We did a really, really funky we did like a super funky track, but I don't think it ever got out, but maybe it will.
Well, now you're teasing us.
Yeah. Well, so
that Welcome to America show, though, that ended up being the last show I saw of Prince in the Carolinas that you mentioned. But man, what a great show! The stage with the cymbal setup, and he rode the bicycle, That was just an amazing show. So, so your next record that I mentioned, Turn It Up, it actually looked like it was sort of a piece of the Hit and Run records, because it looked like the artwork was very much
same artist and from the same period. Yeah, I just felt like it was so close still, and I felt it was still a connection with Prince. And one of the songs, since we're on the break with Third Eye Girl, I started writing the music, and I sent one of the tracks to him, and he gave comments for the mix, and told me to clean it up, and then I did, and then he made a purple pick of the week on Tidal, which made me super proud. So I feel like he was a little bit involved with this album too. So yeah.
The throwback, great thumping bass. I really think you're cute. Really, that's like real, like kind of catchy funk.
Catchy funk, yeah.
It's got like a lot of hook to it. It's not just funk, but it's catchy funk. And but the one that Prince worked on, "Show Me What You Got," reminds me a little bit of "Give It Away" by the Chili Peppers. It's got that same kind of like vibe, which is good. I like that track.
Yeah.
Fatty Papa Eddie and "Bass in Your Face," just thumping bass, just love it. And "Free Your Mind," and you have the you have the Prince kind of spelling with the UR, but a little bit of a departure, some reggae in there.
Yep.
So, you feel comfortable with other genres like reggae, or is it just something you want to experiment with?
Well, I wouldn't, if you want to have a really authentic sounding reggae band, you're probably not going to call me for it. But I have been playing like different reggae songs, and like the electronic band I mentioned before I was in back in the day. We also had like a lot of reggae-ish songs, so it's not unfamiliar to me. But I just felt like that was the vibe of that song. It had to be, yeah.
Do you play any of the Plectrum Electrum songs when you do live shows?
No, I don't play. I play little snippets of some grooves here and there, but I don't play any Prince songs because, yeah, it's, I don't know who should be singing those, but I do the little snippets because I love the music a lot and I want to pay my respect, but I don't want to, I don't want to play covers that doesn't live up to his standards,
Well, the title track, well, not the title track, but you did the one instrumental with like the Frankenstein kind of rhythm to it. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So last year you came with "Time to Stop Worrying About the Weird Stuff."
Yes.
And why that title?
Because it was something the drummer in my band, Patrick, he just said one day, because there was like a lot of weird stuff happening all the time every time we had to go somewhere, and then I don't even remember what happened, but I was like, we were driving somewhere to pick up our DJ, who we saw on the street in the walking opposite of where he was supposed to go, and I was like, why is he walking that way? Because it was quite a bit, in the other direction. We were still having to drive to pick him up, and then the drummer just said, "It's about time that we start to worrying about the weird stuff in this band." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." And then I thought it was, yeah, that was the album title. It's a very long album title. I was advised against it, but.
Well, that's why you got half of it in parentheses, so you can just say "Time to Stop Worrying."
Yeah.
But to me, I mean, personally, this is my favorite of your records. So I think it's, I think it's probably has the most funk overall from back to front.
Yeah.
I mean, you're pretty relentless on the funk on this one.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing for me.
Yeah.
I mean, you ripped through like what, 7 or 8 tracks before you slowed down a little bit with Lukewarm, which is sort of like a little bit of a preview sound-wise to your most recent record, I would say.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kind of hints at that. Who's Fondolia or
$5.
yeah, what's that?
That's the keyboard player.
Okay. But some of the baddest bass plucking, for my money, is Rock the Bass, Bad Trucker, Messed Up My Place, which has Don on it.
Yeah.
And oh, and you have the little Purple Interlude as sort of a little tribute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, you wrote the tracks. You're doing most of the vocals.
Yeah.
Congratulations on this one.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. How is it doing? How's it done for you?
Yeah. You know, it's only a year old, so it's hard to say. But I've been selling quite a few of them on my shows. But that's where I feel it the most myself, you know, because I don't really know. Like, I'm sure there's been some internet sales also, but you know, I know about that once in a while.
Well, you know, overall, I mean, let's face it, there's not nearly enough funk out there, and here you are carrying the torch, doing it right, doing it justice. It's authentic, and anybody that likes that music or the genre, they have to check this out.
Oh man, thank you.
You know, and one thing I forgot to ask, and I wanted to also, is that, you know, what do you think it was about Prince that works so well with sort of the feminine energy? And you know, we don't see a lot of females playing funk music, you know, really hard funk music. So why do you think that is also?
I think actually he liked, you know, there's a different energy in the band if it's not only like a bunch of dudes or a bunch of girls. Like, if you mix it, it's a more balanced energy, I think. And I think he always had the vision of having a girls band. I think that was always a dream of his. So, you know, he got that. But yeah, I don't know. I just think but he worked well with everybody. You know, it's I think. Yeah, I don't know. That's who he was.
What about the lack of females that just play hard funk? You know, why do you think they shy away from it?
I don't know, because I don't understand it, because I love the genre so much. But I guess if you don't love it, you don't really have the urge to play it, you know, like that. But I think everybody who ever played with Prince got to love it and got to be really good at it, because he taught us so well.
Well, what do you think, Ida, in this record, Time to Stop Worrying, that's there that maybe wouldn't have been there 10 years ago, before you worked with Prince, before you got all this extra experience? What do you bring now to your playing that you think you didn't have back then, maybe?
Oh, that's hard, because I think it's I feel like it's not only my bass playing, it's also, you know, it's working with Prince and see how he arranged stuff live that really taught me a lot. And I see it especially with my own band for live, like how much I actually learned, because back then I was just learning and trying to do my part, right? But you know, everything kind of sank in as well at the same time, but I didn't realize it at the time. But I'm just now, since I'm a band leader again, realizing how much I learned. So I'm really very grateful for that. It's yeah, it's fantastic. So and I would say like stuff like, for instance, rock the bass, like several, like where you have these which I think is quite Prince-like to have, like, and I programmed the drums to on top, but we're still in 4, but drums are playing 3 and stuff like that. I think is definitely a little Prince to play around with rhythm like that.
Definitely. And do you feel like you picked up some studio skills too, that maybe you're a little more proficient now when you're actually going through the process?
Absolutely, yeah. Yes. And you know, it's hard to tell when you're in it, but you know, I've been in the studio with him telling me what to do, and with him letting me do stuff, and I've seen him play like also bass in the studio, and you know, it's just you know, I sucked it in. So.
Which instrument do you think he was most proficient on? Guitar or just?
Well, you know, he was a guitar hero, but he was really, really, really good at every instrument I saw him play. Like, he was a phenomenal bass player, but he was also a great drummer. And, you know, of course, you know, his piano skills were fantastic too. He was just, you know, it was everything.
One of a kind, for sure.
For sure, yeah.
So the new album, which you waited until this date to come up with it or something like that, you know, or how did that, I'm going to say materialize, but I mean, how did you come up with the concept and the direction and also target that date and everything?
Well, I was actually working on a funk album, and I realized, and then this date is coming, and I was like, that is the coolest date ever, and I feel like I need to do a release on it, because that, you know, it's too cool to not do anything. And then I realized I will not be able to finish my funk album in time for it. But then I also write all these other type of music as like lukewarm, and you know, I always had these things, and I enjoy actually very much to write this music. And then I was like, well, maybe I should do an album with like a more mellow one that's quite different, and you know, it's a special date, it's going to be a special album, and yeah, do something different. So basically it's not deeper than that. I wanted to release something on the date.
Was there any stress in getting it actually out on that date?
Yes. There was supposed to be more song. It's a little short. There was supposed to be more songs on it, but it didn't get. It was not finished on time. So
it was kind of more of an EP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
8 tracks and
yeah.
And mostly mellow, except for Accidental Balls is pretty funky.
Yes.
Yeah. What's the inspiration for that one?
Well, actually, I was in a situation last year, and I don't even remember what it was, but somebody did something, and I was like, ah. So it was just balls by accident. And I was like, that is funny, I'm gonna write it down. And then I wrote it down, and then I had this track, and I was like, I don't know, you know, lyrics is not really my best side. So I was like, I need to come up with something, and then I just went through my notes, and it just said accidental balls, and I was like, that's hilarious. I have to make a track with it. And then, yeah.
Of course, Prince famously had a quirky sense of humor too. Did you guys really laugh it up a lot?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he was goofing around a lot.
Yeah. And then Librarian Way seems like, was that like a sequel to that earlier Librarian song that
Yeah, actually it was it was actually what turned out to be a segue from, we played the Librarian and I had a little outro, and then I went into that part, and then I liked it so much that it became a little song on its own, like those chords and stuff.
And then Vibe It Out is sort of a jazzier bass style, makes me think of, if we're sticking with a Prince vernacular, more like maybe a Rhonda Smith or something. But, do you feel pretty comfortable in, more of a jazz style too?
Yes. This type of jazz style, not like, I can play a little jazz, but also I don't think you should call me if you want to have an authentic sounding jazz gig. But I've checked out some different stuff, so
Yeah, so not Jocko, but
no.
Yeah. I think this record too, though, seems like there's a little more focus on your singing than some of the other stuff. Would you say that's fair too?
Yeah, maybe it's just a little less focus. Well, there's actually a lot of bass going on. It's just a little more hidden. I'm doing a lot of chords and stuff, and but so yeah, it's maybe, yeah, I don't. It's more for me. It's more about the vibe.
Well, it's doing pretty well though. It seemed like, right?
Yes, I'm very happy because it was like, at first I'm releasing an album that nobody expects me to release, and then it's also very short. So people have been quite kind about it.
I enjoy it, but I am very glad to hear there's still more fun coming.
Oh yeah, always.
So another one before the year's up, do you think?
Well, I'm pretty far with it, but I think from a business side of view, it would maybe not be so smart to release it too soon after the other. But let's see if, yeah.
Is there a cool date coming in 2021 that like
well, not as cool. I think it's going to be a while before it gets this cool, but I was already thinking, because time to stop worrying about the weird stuff I actually released on January 1st, and now I released this on February 2nd, so I could release the next one on March 3rd. It would be like a little...
There you go.
Yeah, maybe it's... yeah.
It's funny because Prince also was very much into, was it numerology or the numbers stuff?
Yeah, just the like meaning of different stuff, symbols and stuff, what everything meant.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and what's happening on the tour front for you?
We're about to go on a quite long spring tour with my band here in Europe. And then we're gonna go on a summer tour in Europe too. And then we will probably go on a fall tour. I'm not quite sure about how that's gonna look yet, but definitely we have the spring tour is about to take off, and it's gonna be fun. We're looking forward.
And do you share bills on those, or you just on your own, or how's it structured?
We're on our own. I think we have a few opening acts, a couple of places, and then one place we have a shared bill with Candy Delpha, which I'm looking very much forward to.
Mm-hmm. Any chance of making it to America?
I'm hoping all the time, but I have a little bit of a work permit issue these days, so I need to have that figured out. And yeah.
So, Ida, as we get ready to wrap this up, what would you say up to this point you're most proud of accomplishing in your career, and what maybe would you like to still accomplish?
Well, I am very proud that I got the opportunity and chance to play with Prince. I would say that's, it was my dream and it happened. It's, what can you say? It's yeah. And also I'm proud of the albums I made, the music. And what my plans are is that
Well, like what they call it, some people call it a bucket list or whatever. So,
okay, yeah.
career wise, what would you like to do yet?
Well, I'm very happy right now with doing my own band, and I just as long as it makes sense for me and it doesn't get too hard, that's just what I want to do, because it gives me a lot of joy to make this music and to perform for people, and to see that there's actually a lot of people who love funky music like me. So that's very rewarding. So I'm gonna do that, and then I hope I'll be able to challenge myself musically and go in some different directions once in a while. But I'm always going to be on the funky road though. So yeah, I'm just, I'm not planning too much. I'm just going for it and see what happens, and enjoying the moment of it.
Well, we love hearing that. Pursuit of the funk is a noble pursuit.
Cool, man.
So, outstanding. How can people keep in touch or up with what you're doing?
I have a website called idanielsenbass.com, and yeah, I have my tours and stuff updated there, and also links to all the social medias, who most of them are called either something with Ida Nielsen or Ida Nielsen Bass.
And the records are available from Amazon or through your site too, or?
There's links on my site, yeah. Okay. Are you thinking about physical copies or?
Downloads or physical?
Yeah, downloads. There's links for downloads on my website, and physical copies is you can get some through something called peer-to-peer. That was made by Prince, first of all. So it's basically people who are selling, helping me and other artists to sell their albums if you want a physical copy. But I think also at some point I might there might be like some kind of online store where you can order a physical copy and get the mail. I'm not quite there yet, but yeah.
I think also people can hear your records in their entirety on YouTube from what I saw. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. It's a good place to sample it anyway. And
yeah.
Ida, it's been such a pleasure. Great talking to you, and I wish you continued success and joy
thank you, man.
in the funk in your career. And I really look forward to hearing more from you.
Oh, thank you so much. And thanks for having me, man.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, back at Truth and Rhythm headquarters. Thank you for joining us on another magical ride with Truth and Rhythm. Whether you're watching or listening, as always, thank you so much for your continued interest and support. Be sure to subscribe. Go to YouTube. Go to the Funk and Stuff channel. That's where Truth and Rhythm lives and breathes and thrives. Also, goodies there like TIR Quick Takes. And if you subscribe, you know what? You get the show before anyone else. It's free. If you love jazz, funk, R&B, soul, You can't miss it. Pass it along. Tell a friend. Tell family. This audience is growing, and it is a beautiful thing, all coming together for the love of this great music. Also, if you can throw us a buck or two, we could use the support financially, keeping the lights on, keeping the servers going, all these expenses. If you can help support the program, whatever you can give, much appreciated. Go to the funkinstuff.net website, and on the right hand side of every page, you just click and you can donate through PayPal, credit card, whatever. Very easy to do and so much appreciated. And if you do a sizable donation, I will mention you on the program. Also, drop me a line. Email me at scottg@funkinstuff.net. Let me know who else you'd like to see on the show, what you enjoy about the music. Let's just kibitz and talk about stuff, talk music. You'll find that I respond very quickly, and I much enjoy the rapport and the camaraderie and the interaction. Always remember, this is your show, The True Music Lover. So for now, that's all the time we have for this one. It's a wrap. As always, Scott Dr. GX Goldfine saying, keep on vibrating to the rhythm of the one.